And one thing, Tasha, that I realized that it is so important to write down what you really want from a soulmate. I think that's so important. We talked about write the vision
I agree.
and make it plain, Tasha. Now, is that something that you've had experience with? Talk to people about what you've done in that regards to be able to manifest the things that you want in this life. And then I'm going to tell them from my standpoint.
So like you said, definitely write it down, but I will say it starts with a thought first. Visualize that person that you want in your life, the different qualities you want out of that individual. And, once you write it down, then you start, visualizing what you want to do with that person, where you're going to go with that person, what you guys will wear in that particular day. So when you do write it down, make sure it's very plain. You know exactly, what you're wearing, the colors, where you're at. Was there water? Was there a beach? All the things. Be very specific.
And that's just the start, y'all. Tasha just kind of broke it down real quickly. But the important thing that Tasha kept saying is be specific. The reason that most of you online are having so much trouble in finding a relationship and having so much trouble in maintaining your relationship is that maybe in the beginning, what you wrote down, when you wrote down what you wanted, you weren't very specific. Like Tasha's talking about colors and places and things like that. You have to be so detailed. Florence Scovel Shinn talked about a woman who wanted to attract a mate. And she's saying what she wants in the mate, but she never said that she wanted someone who was kind, someone who's gentle, someone who treats her like a queen. She never said those things, so that when she attracted a mate, she attracted someone who did not treat her well and who was not nice to her. Now, you can attract anything you want in this life, but if you're not very clear, if you're not very specific, then you're going to find yourself in relationships with people that you don't want to be with.
Right. And I think we also forget to, like Seymone said, be more detailed, because we usually focus on like the outer appearance, like how you want that person to look, what type of job, what kind of car they drive, things like that. But like Seymone said, you have to remember the other traits as well. You want a kind individual, someone that's loving, someone that maybe likes to travel. So you definitely have to really go in detail and do a deep dive on that individual and what you're really looking for.
And then, one thing that you hear people say is that opposites attract. But then on the other hand, I've heard said they might attract, but then they're not going to last. When you write down what you want, really what you want is someone who is going to be compatible with you, not totally the opposite of you. Maybe you do want someone who is going to be more budget conscious if you're a big spender. Maybe that's true. In that way, you might be opposites. Yeah. But on the large overall scale, you do want someone who's going to be compatible with you. So make sure you include that on your list. The things that you like, you write down that you want someone to like that too. If you like to go skating, skiing, skydiving, bungee jumping, or whatever, any of those things that you like, it's going to enhance your relationship to have someone who likes those things too.
Definitely. To speak to the opposite attract, I do believe in that, and I think that balance the relationship out with the two people. We're having opposites. You like this, the other person don't like it. You try it, and then you find a happy median. So I do think opposite attract. So I definitely would say look for the opposite as well. That's a good tip.
So Tasha saying look for some opposites, because I guess what you don't want a clone of yourself. That's true, but then also look for that compatibility.
Yeah.
A lot of you're looking for relationships, and you're not taking the time to do this work that we've been laying out. So today, what we're talking about is called scripting. Get your journal, just get a piece of paper, write down the 10 things that you have to have in an apartment. You write down the 10 things that you have to have.
So those are non-negotiables.
Non-negotiable things that you feel like, I have to have this in an apartment, or I can't deal with that person. That's what we want to write down, your non-negotiables. Then write down the things that you would like to have.
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So that
Yes.
if somebody comes along and they don't have that, then you can work with it, right?
And just keep in mind also that you want to have a lot of these features already for yourself. So I know sometimes people ask for different things in mates and they haven't done the work. So it's kind of not fair to that other individual if you have not done the work on yourself and you asking of all these different traits and the individual to be your mate. So just keep in mind, make sure you've done the work on your own self, and that mirror can reflect back on you if you're asking for these things that you are that same person in return.
So, when we talk about doing the work, you hear us say that a lot. For me, and I'll let Tasha speak what it is for her, but for me, doing the work is spending time with yourself, spending time in silence, trying to find out who you really are and what you really need in your life, trying to figure out for yourself what motivates you, what gets you excited, what causes you to wake up in the morning and feel joy. Find out the things that really motivate you, that really inspire you, the things that you really want to see in your life. And then you're going to be able to bring someone else into that space because they're going to be part of that vision that you saw when you were working on yourself.
Right, and to speak to Simone's point, also knowing that the things that trigger you or the things that you don't like or you're not fond of, make sure you're aware of those things so you know how to address some of those things if they do come up and how you can handle the situation with that individual going forward. So that's important too, to know, like someone said, know yourself and know what things you like, you don't like, what you'll tolerate and what you won't.
And that's important what Tasha said, the word, the things that trigger you. Now, because when you have certain things that are triggering you, your partner will know how to push those buttons to get those triggers
Absolutely.
activated, right? So that goes back to you doing the work on yourself. We all have things that could just like push us over the edge if people keep coming at us with it, right? So there's certain things that's going to push you over the edge if somebody keeps just poking you with it. But you got to, in your time, in your alone time, in your me time, work on that. Strengthen yourself so that somebody can't just stand in your face and even curse you out, call you out of your name, and then you jump up and react to them on that same level.
Well, hopefully,
right?
You're not dating that individual, but
right,
it happens. But
it happens. But hopefully, you're not dating. That's not the person you're going to attract. But say, for example, you attract somebody who knows you're sensitive to a certain topic. So when they want to push your buttons, they're going to bring that topic up.
Right.
Then because you have taken time to sit with yourself, because you've taken time to meditate, and because you've taken time to write down the things that you really want and important to you, then when somebody comes at you sideways with something that is not in line with what you have envisioned for yourself, you don't have to react to them the same way that they're coming at you.
Yeah, you'll definitely react different. If you've done the work and worked on yourself, you'll act different. And they'll probably be very surprised. They'll be very surprised because they're looking more than likely probably for a confrontational type of response. And when you don't give that individual that, it'll definitely be different. So yeah, do the work, guys.
And that's what, like, me and Tasha, we've been working to bring you ideas, to bring you concepts that's going to lead you in the right direction when you're looking for relationships. And when you're working on strengthening the relationship you have, or even if you're working on getting over a relationship, all of this goes back to you spending time with yourself, being silent, knowing what you want, and knowing what you will tolerate.
Yes, you guys. So definitely that scripting is essential. Like, I recommend everybody do it. If you're looking for a soulmate, if you're single and you're looking, if you're already in a relationship, even if it's some things to like your goals, they don't necessarily have to be even, towards a relationship. Like, write those things down, exactly what you're looking to achieve, and it'll come. I mean, of course you got to do the work, but write it down and make it simple and plain when you write it down.
And it's like you really gotta want it. The things in your life that you're lacking and you want to call into your space, you really have to want it. And it's the same thing with a relationship. It's the same thing with keeping a relationship. You really have to want it. You can't just sit back and think that your mate is going to read your mind and know exactly what you want. You have to be able to want things in your life and be able to work towards them.
Right.
You know, people always say this was the issue with the movie The Secret. It's telling people you could just think about something and it could come to pass, make your vision board and it'll come to pass. But you also have to take the action towards it.
Right. And it will come to pass. That vision board, and you put some action towards it, guys, it happens. It may not happen like the day or tomorrow, but trust me, it happened. It works. It definitely works.
Yeah, because right now, Tasha and I, we live in our dream life.
Absolutely.
You know, we voted and we left. Just like in 2020, we voted and we left. So this is the second time that we've exodused. This is the second time that we've left right there in the U.S., wherever y'all listening to us from. We're talking about the U.S. That's where we were raised, in the U.S. And for many years, we toiled there. We worked a 9 to 5.
Yep.
We listened to what everyone else said you should do to get ahead. And we did that. And then it came to a point in our lives where we spent time with ourselves long enough, where we spent time in meditation long enough to know what is it that we really wanted.
Right.
I was able to manifest Tasha in my life because that's what I really wanted. A sweet, kind, loving wife. That's what I wanted. I wrote that down. I spent time in meditation. And when she came along, I was able to recognize her because I had already, in my heart, put what I wanted in a partner. It was already written in my heart because I wrote it down. I spent time in meditation. It was in my heart and mind. So it was easy for me to recognize when I saw her that this was the one. And since that time, Tasha and I have just been on a journey of where we set high goals. We set goals for ourselves and we achieve them through the same process we are telling you to do. Yeah. We achieve them. So you want a good relationship? Spend time with yourself.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, definitely. But the manifestation works, you guys. All I can say is just keep writing it down. You can even do things like, Seymone and I always talked about like living at the beach, living on the island, living near water. And so early on in our relationship, what we would do, I believe it was Monday nights, we would watch Caribbean Life. And I don't know if you guys watched it before, but Caribbean Life, you know, they show all the different Caribbean areas with the water and they show the houses and everything. And that was really motivating for us because we knew that was the life that we wanted. We wanted to live by the beach, and we were determined we're going to keep watching Caribbean Life because it will come to pass.
And then, y'all, in 2020, when we left the States, we ended up in Mexico. And we got to Mexico, we got to La Paz, and we saw that it was like kind of a city. So we were like, no, this is not necessarily it.
It did have water, though, you guys.
We were close to the water where you could walk and see the water. But it still didn't feel like it for us. And when we continued to explore Mexico, we discovered Cerritos, which is like 45 minutes north of Cabo.
Mm-hmm.
So we discovered Cerritos, which was an oceanfront town. And there were probably less than 100 people living there at the time. So we decided to build there. We built a house there. We settled there. But we weren't on the ocean front of Cerritos.
Right.
So I told Tasha,
we could walk to the beach, though. We could walk to the beach, though. The beach was right there. Probably 5-6 minutes up the road.
I told Tasha the next goal is a condo where we are right at the beach and we're overlooking the water. And right now, that's what we're recording to you from. A condo where we're right at the beach. We're right looking at the water. You know?
Every day.
Dreams do come true. Visions do come true. And it gets to a certain point in your life where you have to stop and say, now it's time for me to live my dream. You have to stop and you have to take ownership of your whole life. And you have to just claim it. It's time to live your dream.
Yes, live it out loud. Live it out loud.
Yeah, start to live your dream. Whether you want a relationship, whether you want the condo or the beach or whatever it is that you're seeking, you follow the steps that we just outlined. And in some of our previous videos, we outlined steps also on how you can manifest the things that you want. But this one was about scripting. So write it down and make sure you're writing down exactly what you want.
Specific.
The universe is listening. God is listening. Your angels are listening. Everyone is listening when you say the things that you want, and they're bringing it to you.
Bringing it to you. So write it down, you guys. That's important. Definitely write it down. Just don't have it in your head. You write it down on paper because that just brings it another step closer to you.
All right, y'all. Like, subscribe, tell a friend. Come on, y'all. Let's get these numbers up.
Yep. Make sure y'all comment.
We're going to bring y'all more excellent content. We're going to talk about some things that's going on and how it affects you. And we're going to keep giving you relationship tips. How to get a relationship, how to keep your relationship strong.
Yes.
That's what we come in here for. The relationship tips and the life tips, y'all. Because it all intertwines.
It definitely does.
This is Seymone
and Tasha.
We out, y'all.